Little Mets Mirage with Chris Bello as the New York Mets do it again, baby. 3 in a row for the Amazons. And they, unfortunately, don't pick up any ground because Boston is stinking up the joint these days and can't beat the Philadelphia Phillies. But the Mets have got it back on track. They'll go for the sweep of the Angels. 1:10 first pitch. Sean Manaea on the mound. Let's bring on our good friend Chris Bello for a few minutes on the climate surrounding the New York Mets with the trading deadline closing in. Chris, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're good. Thanks, Chris.
A couple of impressive back-to-back come-from-behind wins by the Mets. And if you want to have a headline the last couple of nights, Francisco Alvarez would certainly be the guy at the top.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like while we were watching the catching tandem of Hayden Sanger and Luis Torrens, not struggle, but not give the production you're really should be getting from a playoff team. And then you see Alvarez hitting a home run almost every single at-bat in AAA. You were just waiting for it. But what I thought was interesting, which David Stern said, was Francisco Alvarez came up a lot sooner than he thought he would have. So it could have even been longer, guys.
Well, he's not only he's come up, he's produced in back-to-back games. And I'm not a big Frankie Montas guy, but he gets the win last night. Stanek gets out of a jam in the ninth. And honestly, right now, Chris, it's the bottom of the order that we were complaining. That's what we do. We dissect every game. But for a good stretch, we were complaining that the bottom of the order wasn't contributing enough. And now it seems like it's more the top of the order with the bottom of the order coming alive.
Yeah, Brett Beatty has really taken that step, guys. I mean, the defense has been there all season long. But over the month of July, he's been their best hitter. He hit that home run in Game 2 that led that 7-5 comeback. He's, again, he picked another hard ball yesterday to make an out late in the game. So he's really turned things around. Ronnie Mauricio has been good coming back from injury. You're still waiting for Mark Vientos to try and flip the script and figure things out. But, yeah, the bottom of the lineup has absolutely carried them so far in July.
Talking with Chris Bello from Mets Mirage here on Big Board Sports, 104.5 The Team, ESPN Radio, and, of course, the free 104.5 The Team app. Chris, with now Kodai Senga and Sean Manaea back in the starting rotation, how confident are you and how confident should Mets fans be in this rotation overall here moving forward throughout the rest of the regular season heading into the postseason?
Well, they have one of the strongest rotations in the National League when they're healthy. I mean, Kodai Senga had a sub-2 before he went down. Sean Manaea last season down the stretch was probably their best starting pitcher. He was able to give them depth and also produce. So when those two are healthy and going back-to-back, they are, they're up there with the Phillies with Zach Wheeler and co. And I really believe that they can win a playoff series with those two, but I'd still like to see them get another ace at the trade deadline.
Yeah, they certainly could use that. I mean, I want to see. I mean, I think that the concern I have right now is let's see Manaea come through today and get him going here a little bit. Like, can Manaea pitch a gem today, this afternoon? And then, it was not a good outing by Kodai Senga the other night.
No, it wasn't a good outing by Kodai Senga. And we've seen those very, very sparsely in his major league career where the forkball's just not going and he gives up some early runs. But credit to the Mets offense. That was a game maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, that they would have just rolled over and they would have lost maybe, 5-1, 5-2.
What is your take on the Phillies here? I mean, is this a team? It appears that this is just going to go to the wire, possibly right down to the very end as which team will win the National League's Eastern Division.
I'm going to get a lot of hate for this one, but if they don't do anything at the trade deadline, I still think the Phillies are a better team than the Mets.
Okay.
The way the schedule rolls right now that Rob Manfred set up, they play, I believe, 7 times over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks of the season. So it's going to come down to what both teams do at the deadline and how they're performing in August and September.
Well, I mean, Stearns was pretty straightforward. It's relief pitching, right? And you mentioned that, but I mean that seems to be the direction that they are going to be all in on.
Yeah, and if you listen to the press conference, he said he was confident in the lower order. He was confident in the lineup. If you look at the advanced numbers, OPS plus, they're a top 5 team in the National League. It's just they're a bottom 5 team with runners in scoring position. So how do you really fix that? You could go get a center fielder. Maybe Cedric Mullins is available, maybe Luis Robert, but those two really haven't been that great this season. So, yeah, I would say just go focus and get an ace. they'll get another closer caliber relief pitcher and really lock up those late games when your starting pitching gets you deep.
Chris, I mean, what about the top of this order and their recent struggles? Like Rodger mentioned, the production of the bottom of the order was evident, especially last night. But Lindor's down at 245. What's he over his last 37, 38, something like that? Pete Alonso's been struggling a little bit too. I think it's just a recent skid. No reason to panic yet with the top of the order's lack of production in these recent stretch of games.
It might be the worst stretch we ever see from those three in Mets uniforms. I think I saw a stat, before last game. They were a collective 2 for 53 over like the last week, so it wasn't great. But again, to David Stearns, what do? You have so much money locked up in Lindor, Alonso, Soto, even Brandon Nimmo that you kind of just have to trust that they'll go to the back of their baseball cards and they'll really start producing.
I think they will. I mean, Lindor's 0 for his last 38. And while all of that is happening, they're still only a half game behind the Philadelphia Phillies in the NL East. And you get the bottom of the order now picking it up when the top of the order isn't. I think the Mets are fine. I want to see today, for me personally, watching the New York Mets, what are we going to get out of Sean Manaea today? What are we going to get, Chris, out of Manaea here this afternoon?
I'm assuming he'll be on a pitch count today, probably around that 75 mark. So hopefully 4 innings, hopefully 5 innings. Just enough to get to that bullpen, which, right out the break, they've been abused again. So you really need 5 innings out of Manaea, and if you get that, that's a positive.
Chris Bello, Mets Manaea, always a pleasure having you on Big Board Sports on ESPN Radio in Albany. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Chris.
Chris Bello there.